Hello there, welcome back to the channel and subscribe if you're not already, and let's talk about the useEffect hook. Now, when you think about the useEffect hook, I recommend that you think about it in this way. Think about it in terms of after effects that happen in applications such as fetching data from an API or creating a search input for your application. Because every time that there's a passive kind of effect in application, then it is most likely the useEffect hook that is performing all of that. So let's start right away by importing the useEffect hook. So I'm going to say import useEffect from React like so. So in this video, I want to focus on fetching data using the useEffect hook, and this is the link to the API that we're going to use. And what this API does is basically it returns a list of countries and all the data concerning the countries. So right away, right inside here, and actually I need to import useState as well to set up my state values. So useState, and I also have a video about useState. You can check that out as well. And for useState, what I want to do is right below this, I'm going to say const countries and set countries like so. This is going to be equal to useState, and then I just want to pass in an empty array because we're going to populate this once we fetch our data from useEffect. Now, if you're not familiar with the useState, then this is the function that controls this, and this is our state value. So this is our state value, and then this is the function that controls how this state value changes. Okay, so right below this, then I want to create a function that will fetch the data from this API. So I'm going to say const, let's say fetch countries, and this is going to be an asynchronous function, actually async like so. And then I'm going to say const response equals to await fetch, and then pass in this URL. So let me just grab this, pass it inside here. Okay, and then I'm going to say const data equals to response dot equals to await response dot JSON. Okay, and then once we do that, then I just want to say set countries into the data that we get back like so. Now once we do this, we can actually console log. We can say console.log and console log the data, and then we need to call this function so that it actually works. We can do that by saying useEffect. So we call the function inside the useEffect like so, and then we set up a callback function. So I'm going to say fetch countries like so, and then just so that you don't crash your laptop by accident, which I've actually done, then you need to set up an empty dependency array inside here. And what this does is that it makes sure that this function is only run once and on the initial render. Okay, and then this needs to be JSON like so. Sorry for that. Okay, so we can check our console and let's see. Look at this, we have all of that. Remember, let's just reload so that we have a cleaner console. And look at that, so we have 250 objects that are returned from the array. Remember, this is an array that we get back. And let me just close this down, shrink it like so. And then let me just show you an interesting thing that we can do. We can go below this and then we can create a paragraph like so, and then we can say countries dot length, and we should get the length of countries that we have, which is 250, and we can say 250 countries, or we can say currently showing 250 countries. Look at that. Now let's just display some of the data that we get from the useEffect just to show you that it actually works. And then below this, we're going to create a div like so, close it out, and then inside this div, then I just want to say countries.map, and then I just want to return a few things that I already know. So I want to return the numeric code, and then I want to return the flag, which is the image, and then I want to return the name of the country, just like so. And then of course set up my implicit return, and I'm going to be returning an article with the key of numeric code like so, and then close this article tag. And then inside here, let me return an image with the source for this being the flag, and then the alt for this being the name, close it out. And then below this, let's have an h2 that says the name of the country like so. Now, if you're confused about all this data, this is actually data that you get from the API itself. So let me just open this up. Okay, so this is all data that you get from the API. So we have the name that we have got, and then we also have where is the numeric code here, which is our unique key, and then we have the flag right inside here, which is an SVG image of the country flag. Okay, so just in case this is a bit confusing to you. And just like that, look at that, we are using the useEffect hook to get data from an API. So very simple, very elegant, and it shows all the data all the way to Zimbabwe at the bottom. And then a thing that you can add inside here is you can set the image to lazy loading, just so that you don't, use up all your bandwidth. So you can say loading equals to lazy. And then right inside the CSS, because this is bothering me, this horizontal scrolling is bothering me, then just say for all the images, then set the max width to 100%. And then above this, you can just say set the margin to 0, just to reset everything. And then reset the padding to 0. And the box sizing, can't I set this to border box? And it just resets everything so that it just looks a bit nicer, a bit more elegant. So look at that, looking amazing. Now, one thing that I did want to show is that when we are talking about the useState hook, and I'm just going to open this up. So when we're talking about the useState hook, we actually built a to-do application. And I talked about how you can use the useEffect to set up local storage, right? Because currently, if I try to add something inside here, then you'll notice that if I reload it, then my items are not saved, right? And that is not a functionality that we want in our to-do list. So we want that every time that we reload, whether we close the browser or not, and we come back to it, then we still want to see our items. So what you can do is set up a useEffect like so. Set up a callback, and then an empty dependency array. For now, remember that you always need to import it at the top. So inside my useEffect, what I'm going to do is right inside here, I'm going to say localStorage dot set item. Okay, and then I'm going to be setting the item. I'm calling items like so, and I'm going to say JSON dot stringify, and then I'm stringifying my item state value, which I have at the top. And then for the empty dependency array, I'm going to pass in the items. So what this means is that update local storage every time that the items array changes. And we know that the items array will change every time that we add something inside our to-do list. Okay, now this, it still technically doesn't work. Okay, if I try to load this, then nothing happens. Okay, so we need to set up a few more things where I'm going to go back to the top right above this, and then I'm going to create another function called get local storage like so. Set this equal to an arrow function, and then I'm going to say let items equal to local storage dot get item, and then I'm getting the item called items. Remember, at the bottom right inside here, we set the item, and now we are getting it. Okay, and then we're just going to say if items does exist, so this right here, if it does exist in local storage, then we just want to say return json.parse, and we want to say local storage dot get item, and we're just calling it items like so. And then we're saying that if it does not exist, then just return an empty array, which is what we have as our default state value inside here. Now you would think that this works, you would actually think that, but still this doesn't work because we have not executed this function, we have not invoked it. So how do we invoke it? Right inside here, inside our state value, we're just now going to say get local storage like so, and invoke it. And now if I try to add something inside here, add something else, then look at this. If I reload it, then I still have my items. Even if I close my browser, if I leave and then come back, and actually that was not a good idea because I didn't save it. But look at that, it still works. So that is looking amazing. And that is just a simple use case where you can use useEffect. So we have looked at how we can fetch data, and then we have also looked at how we can access local storage using useEffect. So thank you for watching, and I hope you learned something new. And if you enjoyed the video, click the like button and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next video. So bye bye.